Okay. Yeah, so how are folks doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
Pretty good. My refrigerator bit the dust today, so got to sort that out.
That's the worst.
Yeah, but other than that, things are good.
Did you get everything out in time?
No, and I have nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
Just a clean $1,000 later.
Oh, I rent. That's not my problem.
Oh, good. Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah. No, I'd be way more annoyed.
It is your problem in the sense that you need food, and from what I've heard, there's quite a lot of snow outside.
There is, but I just walked to the burger joint, got an order. It's a good excuse too. We're like, oh, what can we do? We just have to order food.
You weren't able to put anything outside to keep it cold?
That feels weird on a city block.
I guess that's a good point.
I'm sure it'd be fine, but how's everyone else's refrigerator?
Small, but working.
Okay, so let's see. It's like 7:30 now. I'm just going to give folks another sec to kind of filter in. But thank you all so much for coming out. I know it's been a little while since we've done one of these, so I'm excited to get back to it. For all the folks who are showing something, do you need any help getting set up, or you need anything to get sorted?
I think I'm all set.
Yeah, good. Oh, absolutely. All right, yes, that's a good sign. And then if anyone's here and you're like, oh, damn, I really wish I could have gotten a spot to show something, when we get to social hour, I can totally, you can post your build in the development channel, and I can set up a room for you if you want to try to get some testers there too. So even if you're not presenting, it's totally okay. Excuse me.
God bless you.
All right, just checking the channel here. Okay, we are live on Twitch. So hello, Twitch. How are you doing? Guess I'll open that and mute it myself just so I can sort of monitor the chat there as well. Cool. As soon as I fired up Twitch, the first thing I heard was me asking how Twitch was doing. So the system works. Okay, so yeah, let's hop into it because I want to play test some games. I think most people here have been to one of these before. I know a bunch of you have also been to the IRL ones at Wonderville. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on. So, hello, I'm the host of this thing. It's great to have you here. This is Playtest Night. So this is remote Playtest Night on the Wonderville Discord. This is a casual event where devs can show off their works in progress and get some playtest feedback. This isn't a typical demo night in so much as we're not like showing finished projects. These are things that are not done yet. Some might be close to release. Some of them might have been started last week. We have a whole range of the types of projects that get shown here. This event grew out of an IRL event that was hosted by Death by Audio Arcade that was held at Wonderville. So Death by Audio Arcade is an arcade nonprofit here in the city. We focus on creating new arcade experiences as well as making the tools and skills to make arcade games more widely available. I'm the vice president of Death by Audio Arcade. We got other Death by Audio Arcade folks here. Mark is helping us stream. He's also on the board. And this event used to take place at Wonderville, which I think most of you are at least somewhat familiar with. Wonderville is the arcade bar in Bushwick that houses most of the Death by Audio Arcade machines. As you can imagine, pretty rough times right now and has been for the last year. When we would do these events IRL, I would put out a little hat for people to toss some money in for a free event. So instead, I am going to go ahead and paste a donate link into the Playtest channel. If you're feeling generous, if you feel like you got some good advice, you had a good time, and you want to help keep a really amazing indie arcade space alive, donating a bit of money there super, super helps. Oh, sorry, I got something caught in my throat today. So anyway, here's how things are going to work. We're going to split the night up into 2 sections. We've got presentations, and then we've got social hour. So we have 6 devs who signed up to demo a brand new project of theirs, or at least project they've been working on. They're going to screen share. They're going to walk us through what they're working on. Presenters, this is kind of up to you how you want to do it. Like I said, this is a pretty casual event. You don't need to have a pitch deck prepared. Just screen sharing your game works. If you have questions for the audience, like there's a specific thing you're focusing on that you want feedback on, tell us. At the end of the presentation, if there's time, people can ask questions. So if you want to end your presentation a little early and we can talk about the game, totally fine. If you just want to show us it for 10 minutes, also totally cool. But you'll have 10 minutes each. I'm going to keep track of time. I'm going to try to give you a little signal when you have about 2 minutes left. And after that, devs, you can post your builds in the Playtest game links channel. So if you look at the sidebar here in the Wonderville Discord, you see in development, we've got Playtest. That's kind of for discussion around this, and Playtest game links. So when you're actually posting your build, please put it in the Playtest game links channel, and try not to have a ton of convo there so that people don't have to scroll up super far to see other games. So keep the convo, the text convo at least, in the Playtest channel, and keep Playtest game links just for games. Everyone presenting tonight should have the developer role on Discord, which will let you post things in there. We did that. Okay. And then during social hour, I really encourage people to try playing a game or two. I'm going to make voice channels for each of the games, so you can kind of hop in there. When this works best is when the dev can watch someone play their game. So if one of these games seems cool and you want to try playing it, awesome. Maybe let the dev know, or hop in the voice channel. And if you stream, if you share your screen while you're playing, the dev can see it, ask questions. I know as a developer, I thrive on getting playtests, and they're so goddamn hard to do during the pandemic. So this is my attempt to try to have actual humans be able to play something people are working on. Yeah. So any questions about format or anything before we get started here? Awesome. So we got a ton of really cool games today. We got 6 games that are going to be shown. We have Andrew Thomas showing Untitled Druid Shooter. We got Spencer Swan / Havenwall Games showing Dust to Dust. We got Ted Agriogiannis showing 9 Muses. Johnny Hopkins showing Sniffy Clean. Vicky showing Fungin in the Pungin. I think I got that right. And Matt Steffi showing Working Title Gas. I don't think Working Title is actually part of it, but I kind of like if the name is Working Title Gas. I think it's going to be a lot of fun across the board. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Andrew Thomas to show our first game here.
Thank you. Hey guys.
Yeah.
I'm just setting up this stream. I think this is working. Let me know if this is not working. I'm sorry. And here we go.
Oh, and for the folks who are maybe new to Discord, when Andrew started a stream, you'll probably see it pop up in the thing. You have to actually click watch stream in order to watch it. And in the stream, you should be able to adjust. Oh, there's no volume in this game, but
No sound, yeah.
Sometimes if the game's really loud, you can adjust the volume of an individual stream by just right-clicking anywhere in the image. All right, sorry to interrupt you.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. So this is Untitled Druid Shooter. I'm still trying to figure out how to even describe what it is. So please help me do that as you watch. But I'm thinking of this as being a magic-based strategy shooter. It is heavily inspired by a game called Deviled Daggers that came out a few years ago. And it's kind of a very simple 3D shooter system. It's using the Quake 3 control scheme, so you can do bunny hopping and cool stuff like that. And this is an arena shooter where there are endless waves of hydras popping through the ground. This creature is a hydra over here, and they want to destroy you and consume you. And it is spawning these things that right now I'm calling red skulls to come and get me. But I have my nature power that comes from these trees that I get when I kill hydras. So if I kill one, it will create a tree, and that tree is going to prevent any new hydras from spawning underneath that spot. So that one like spawned right next to those trees, but as long as it's kind of like based on the grid on the ground. So just popping them out and trying to stay alive. So this is I guess one of the first times I've shown anyone this game. I am really just like blocking out things. It's really simple and basic, but I'm trying to get a sense of whether or not this is cool to people, whether or not it's fun, whether it makes sense, and sort of learn more about what you would want to see from this going forward.
So those lights that are following you, those come out of the trees, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it looks like they've got some vector following that you're sort of swinging them around yourself as you move around.
Yeah. So there's two controls in this. Left or right click will attract them to me, and it kind of has like a gravitational force on them. So they'll spin around me in orbit. And then if I right click, that will send them, oops, like right now there's too many of them that are going there. That will send them to the place that I am clicking. So I'm like calling them to go to that Hydra and they attack that spot. And if I go there, they'll go there.
Okay.
So sort of I guess what I'm going for is a little bit more of like a strategic, almost like a strategy game or like an RTS kind of experience when playing a shooter. So you're never actually like shooting any projectiles or anything. You're manipulating the things that are in the area.
I like this. It feels like it has a lot of potential to be one of those games that just makes you feel cool the whole time you're playing it. The way you're like controlling them to go over here and then over there and then just sort of explode. That it's hard to tell without playing it, but I can tell. Yeah, like I command them all to come over here and then attack.
Yeah,
it's very powerful. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to get like I guess I'm trying to like get to the point where I feel like the core mechanics and like design is in place, so that I can actually, that was kind of cool. So that was a Hydra checking to see if it could spawn there, and then it got destroyed because it wouldn't do it. So I had to fix that. Yeah, I want to make this. I want to get like the core mechanics down and then start working on like all like the sound design and all the, I don't know, like kind of like explaining what's going on and having good, UI. Like having like the wand glow as you fire it. Ooh, I'm about to die. And like a lightning bolt or something that like shows the location that they're all going to. Like drawing a line between those points.
I really like the swarming mechanic there. Do you think like are there ways that you might strategize like where you want like some of your energy swarm to be here, some to be there?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I actually like right now it's spawning just on a timer and they time out at a certain point. But I'm actually thinking I might want to have something more explicit, like cause them to spawn. Like you might have to click on the tree or something, and that would like generate one. Because there's a lot, and you're extremely powerful right now. I only have 5 waves of enemies spawning too, so it just repeats after that, and it's kind of you're very OP. This is not going to stay like that. But I guess I'm like sort of interested in like the emergent elements of this. Like I like that now there's this weird forest that is like kind of obscuring the area, but it's also protecting you.
Totally.
And I want this to have like an emergent narrative, like almost like a farming game kind of. Oops, now I'm dead. Almost like a farming game feel to it. That like it's less about directly fighting the enemies that are coming through, and it's more about like holding them back and like maintaining the space and using using working with the environment that's around you.
It looks like you have a question in the Twitch chat.
Oh, thank you. So let's see. So someone in the Twitch track, Lord Jiffy, is saying, maybe a dumb idea, but have you considered having boss red skulls that could only be defeated by pushing, throwing, shoving a tree at them? Like a boss spawns every so often, and you have to sacrifice a tree, but it defeats the boss. Adds a strategy of when you want to sacrifice a tree or kill an enemy to place a tree, a positioning mechanic.
Yeah, I've been thinking about whether or not the different enemies will spawn that can destroy the trees. I think that definitely needs to happen, and you probably would want to use that to like prune back, your area. And I guess I want there to. So next steps, I want to start adding more enemies, like more waves of things. And I want to get to the point where there's sort of like a story element to it, because I've also been into that game Hades that came out recently, and I love the way that it has that simple like arcade, roguelike main element to it, but it also there's a story that's being told in between the different rounds of the games, and different like characters and stuff react to you in different ways. So I'd love to like just kind of like use this really small space as a place to like tell weird stories or have different things have different relationships to you and stuff like that.
Totally. You have about 2 minutes, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's about it. I'm just looking for any feedback that people have on like what they'd like to see, or if it makes sense, just to look fun to play.
I love the look of this thing. I'm also like intrigued by the very like elegant art style that it's like you can. The more simple something is, the more, for your comment about wanting to tell story, you can project onto it without you needing to say anything in particular. I think that's really working for you here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I just noticed a bug on that loading screen. I don't know why the timer was still going in a weird way.
You were talking about like farming and stuff, and that's sort of a different direction. But you started by mentioning devil daggers, and like Hades and devil daggers are very opposite ends of like scope spectrum. So I'm not sure which end of that spectrum you're going for, but one thought that occurred to me was I was playing a lot of Super Hot, and this also kind of reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be interesting if there was sort of a momentum mechanic to those like particles that are your weapons.
Oh, you can fly with them. I should show you that. I have to get a lot
rocket
more.
Jumping in here.
You can there's bee hopping, so I can do like the side jump is so much more powerful right now. I'm not that good at it. But yeah, you can kind of see that like when you jump to the side, it's faster. And then the more of these I have, I can actually put they affect my my sense of gravity too. So if I have a whole bunch of them, they'll like knock me around. Oops.
I was thinking sort of like a sort of in Devil Daggers how you are doing crowd control a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Something sort of along those lines, except instead of enemies, you're dealing with your like friendlies / weapons. So basically like something where you're like a key element of the game is trying to keep them all grouped up because they do more damage like all together or when they're moving, something like that. So where you're kind of trying to keep them organized.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a good point. I was playing another game that's based on Devil Daggers. I can't quite remember what it's called. But like Devil Daggers has like it's so good, like it's so perfectly polished. Like I don't think I could ever do like the weird flocking stuff that it does, for instance. So like all of my enemies kind of like loop together in that annoying way where Devil Daggers like fix that somehow. So there's like certain Oh, that was a rocket jump going on right there. Let's see.
So just in the interest of actually having time to play these things, I'm gonna press pause on Untitled Druid game, Untitled Druid shooter. My bad. But we'll have a room for that later, so folks can totally check that out. Is that Windows only, Windows Mac? Like, what's it?
It's currently Windows only.
Okay, great. I think most people here have Windows. I'm the weirdo with a Mac, but I have my Windows machine as well. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, looks rad. It's really hard to figure out how to clap on voice calls, but that's what I'm doing. Okay. So next up, we got Spencer Swan / Havenwall Games showing us a card deck builder, Dust to Dust.
Cool. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
And great to see Untitled Druid Shooter again. I got to see it last night, and it's very, very cool. So hi, everyone. My name is Spencer. I'm the director and game designer of Dust to Dust. My lovely graphic designer and artist are both watching on Twitch while we go through this presentation. Quick opening on like why we're making this game. What is this for? Who is it for? Before I hop over to Tabletop Simulator. I grew up playing trading card games, as some of you might have, and I actually got super serious and into it. I had a team. We traveled for tournaments. We had a YouTube channel, kind of the works through high school and college. Basically just us goofing around, touring the country with our best friends. Like a lot of us, we have all kind of fallen out of touch with each other. As we moved across the country, we became adults. We have real jobs. Right, not to mention COVID happening. So we don't have as much of an excuse to talk to each other and see each other and spend time around the table playing games anymore. And that's really where Dust to Dust came from. It's for trading card game recidivists and kind of folks who are into that like deep interaction of cards with super cohesive art design and like really compelling world building. To stay in touch with their friends. So that's why we made this thing. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Tabletop Simulator now. So you guys can see the digital prototype that we have made over the last year and a couple of months. So this is a pretty long-term project for us. Can folks see Tabletop Simulator?
Yep, I see it.
Awesome. So Dust to Dust is a competitive deck building and disintegration game. Each game you will play as a diver looking for powerful relics and fusion shards in the dust, which is the object of the game, to recover these relics. These are all to power your floating island home from sinking into the dust. Which has some interesting gene splicing properties, which we explore in the ally cards and in the art direction. Every game you'll start with a deck of 8 energy cells. These are like single units of currency, and 2 fusion shards, which are victory points. And then you'll use this deck to buy allies. So you'll have this starting set of 10. You'll draw your typical hand of 5 for a deck builder, and then let's say I have 3 energy to work with this particular turn. I can buy any of these allies that cost 3 or less, or even split that by among the different allies. You'll also notice there are no other larger units of currency. The whole goal of the game is to build the most efficient combo deck you can out of these allies. So creating giant chains, and then retrieving these relics from the dust, which cost 8 energy. So you'll need quite a few different allies and energy in your hand to afford to buy one. Some interesting wrinkles that we have to spice things up. As you play, I said deck disintegration game, you can actually voluntarily dust a card from your hand by putting it into this mat. You'll see that we have spots for fusion charge, energy cells, and allies. This pile is then communal to all the players, and they can also retrieve things from the dust that you have thrown away to streamline your deck. And then as you recruit the allies, as you recruit the relics, which are up here, and there are actually 10 different relics, all of which have different effects for some nice variants and change-ups for new players as well. The relics will force you to dust cards from your hand every turn in exchange for their pretty powerful effect that will change the way that you play. With the goal of winning being you get 3 relics And then the game enters a final round where folks can buy more fusion shards, try and get that last relic, and compete for the winner. Relics are worth 2 fusion shards. The regular fusion shards are worth 1 and cost 4 if you were to buy them. Just zooming in on the allies here, want to give a huge shout out to my artist, Bonnie John. We've had him working on all these cards himself. We're targeting 30 different ally cards for the base set that we've been hard at work on in this kind of cohesive, but sort of like Ghibli meets Dark Souls is our current description. We also have some fun art and stories that are told between different cards of certain characters showing up in different other card art. The other fun thing about the allies is that they do allow you to retrieve things from the dust pile. So as things get thrown in here from different buys and into the ally section, and folks are acquiring different relics, you can actually take these allies from the dust with their effects, and then they go into your hand. So you can chain and play them right then if you have the ally actions left to do it. So similar to something like Dominion, where you can only play 1 per turn, that's kind of the concept here, where different allies actually have efficient effects or the ability to chain between different allies. So that is basically my demo. I know it's hard to playtest tabletop games, right, at a night like this. So I would love to do a playtest round after this for those who have Tabletop Simulator or just want to come and watch a game. I can play with anywhere between 2 and 4 players. Outside of that, if you liked the game, I would love it if you would go to dusttodust.games and sign up for email lists if you're interested. We're going to be aiming to launch a Kickstarter later this year and hopefully get the first edition print run funded. So we're in the exciting early stages of rolling this out and sharing it with folks. Yeah, I would love any feedback on the pitch, card art, different concepts of effects. Does this seem exciting? The theme, does that kind of come through for you? Yeah, I'll open it up for questions.
That's awesome. Just Lord Jiffy in the Twitch chat, by the way, says the art is fantastic. I heartily agree. This looks amazing. Please also feel free to post that link in the Playtest Games channel. I know it's not like an actual game link, but like that's the kind of thing we're going for here. But yeah, this looks great, especially for just like a year. It's amazing. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, hey, Dustin here. I just want to say I'm like jazzed about this setting. Yeah, I gush about it. It sounds great.
Thank you.
It's very evocative and novel.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. That's very kind. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a pretty serious Dominion player. This looks exciting to me.
I'm glad. Aim to please. Any other questions, feedback?
Oops, sorry. I was going to say this because I know people have mentioned Dominion, but this also reminds me of Dominion, but without the treasure cards. That I feel like that game, the strategy is always bulk up on treasure cards instead of action cards, and like it's so fun to play the action cards.
Yeah.
And yeah, also the art is very pretty. So,
thank you. Yeah, that was always my complaint about Dominion too. I just hated buying gold. I'm like, why can't I get another cool thing to draw 3 more cards and play more stuff?
Yeah, I know. Like, I actually played with like a couple friends last night, and we tried a completely new like edition, and it was still stock up on gold.
Yep.
It's like the 11th edition of the game, and yeah. So this is really exciting.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. That's great feedback.
Also, I would be down to play as well later. Yeah, like
catch you in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make rooms for everyone. And actually, while we're talking about playing board games and such, I think Sarah already talked to you a little bit about about board game night. But we actually do usually at this time slot. So if you're watching on Twitch, most weeks at this time slot, Sarah would be hosting board game night, and this is the exact kind of like indie board game we really like to show on that channel. I don't know, Sarah, do you want to just like say a few words about board game night? Oh shoot, I think Sarah is AFK. Okay, well, we do it, and it's a good time. And I really hope Dust to Dust is one of the games that gets featured there, because it's always really cool to show off, new games from the community.
Absolutely. Cool. Should I pass it on over?
Yeah, so thank you so much for showing that. Yeah, woo! That looks really cool. You can check out dustdust.games, is that it?
Dust2dust.games, all spelled out.
Dust2dust.games.
Here as
awesome. Well. Okay, so next up we're gonna have Johnny Hopkins showing off Sniffy Clean.
Hello? Sorry. You guys can hear me? My webcam is slowly turning color to be normal.
I kind of like the way it is now.
It's always either yellow or purple. Alrighty. Cool. So today I'll be talking about Sniffy Clean. It is a game I made in this weekend. And I just wanted to get some feedback on it. Cool. So this weekend was Global Game Jam.
Are these like supposed to be flashing?
No. Are they flashing?
Yeah, it's like every half second it goes black.
Okay. Let me try sharing again.
I just thought maybe it was like an intense design choice, but
how about now? If I
it looks good to me.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. So this weekend was Global Game Jam, which takes a bunch of different sites around the world, have a bunch of people that make games, and this year it was online. They sent out a list of diversifiers, so interesting constraints to make your game more interesting, and I was immediately drawn to the one that said, design a game you can play with your nose. I'm a big fan of making alternate controllers, and I was interested in trying to adapt one that could be played over something like Discord. So here's Sniffy Clean. Here are the main two characters, which are both vacuums. The game is networked, so I scrambled to find any sort of networking thing over the weekend working. So you have one host computer and then two different touchscreen enabled devices. And the game works by dragging your nose along most of the touchscreen to control the nozzle on your vacuum. And you can either turn left or right with the two red buttons on the bottom, or if you hold both, you move forward. And you have to race your other vacuum to collect the most dust before the timer finishes. So super simple, super straightforward. I just wanted to see if I can get any spark of game feel with a nose-related controller. I had a lot of fun learning to make it, and I hope people have fun playing it. Also, a mandatory requirement is having your webcam on so that people know that you're not cheating. Here's me playing it by myself just to get a video of it. But super simple. I just want to know if there's anything good about this worth expanding upon past the game jam, what should be fixed about it, and whatnot. But that's all I had. If you guys want to have any questions before the public game testing part.
I mean, do we have to choose between it being a good idea or a bad idea?
That's true. That's sort of the vibe that I hoped for. It's like, oh, you're gonna have to make me do this sort of thing.
It's gonna be a little dicey to show it in, post-COVID people still kind of nervous about germs time.
Yes, I just wiped my phone before we started, so I should have wiped it on screen to show everyone proper cleanliness.
I saw a cat in your background. Has your cat tried it?
No, but yeah, she was there during filming.
Bonnie John on Twitch says the art and concept is so cute. Which, yeah.
Thanks. I spent most of the weekend learning networking stuff in Scrambled. It was going to be elephants. I think the executable is still called elephants, but I decided vacuums were more fun.
Yeah, network game jam games are it's a lot. Let's see, another person on Twitch. We got a bunch of Twitch stuff. It's really unique and quirky. I knows I would play that. Good pun. You've at least captured the heart of the Twitch chat.
Cool. I'm glad.
Did you do this solo?
Yep.
Nice.
Hot damn.
Yeah, I've been sitting with it, and I'm going to vote in favor of it being a good idea.
Cool.
I've decided. That's my vote.
Glad to have your vote.
Yeah, I feel like Wonderville in general is sort of the wrong crowd to be like, no, don't make a game you play with your nose.
Cool. Glad to be in a crowd with like-minded people.
How did it mandate that you use your nose?
I figured just by the design of having to use both thumbs at once and having it be a phone that you can't, like, you can try to use your other fingers, but it's probably more organic to use your nose, given that you're also controlling, like, the nose of the thing. At least I found it to be kind of annoying to if you wanted to move and move your nose at the same time. But that's also why there is the webcam requirement or suggestion.
So there's a proverb we have over in board games that is, do not play with knaves who cheat at lighthearted games. And that's how we go about preventing cheating in board games.
Yeah,
So,
also definitely a spirit for this, I would say.
why would you play the nose game just to cheat?
For sure.
What sort of monster would do that?
All right, yeah, I'm psyched to play this one. Any other questions about? Shoot, I was gonna call it nose game, but sniffy clean. There we go. For the phone part, is it just like a web app?
It's a browser website that you go to. I'm hosting it on Glitch right now. I found like a super bare bones Unity template and then scrapped together some networking WebSocket thing.
You know, just a weekend. No big deal.
Fun stuff.
I'm just curious, did you think about other camera perspectives?
Well, I guess, and also another inspiration for me for this was like Mario Party. Like this would be a Mario Party mini game, something completely absurd that you do in like 30 seconds. So I wanted the room to be bigger because also the theme of the game jam was lost and found, and I don't really think I captured that in the game at the end. But I wanted it to be more of like a you go, the camera follows you and it's split screen, and you're like, I guess looking for stuff, or it is more of a. But I did have like a sort of top-down-ish perspective in mind, just because I thought that would be most convenient for dragging your nose around and having that map sort of to your character.
For sure.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to give that one a try. Thank you so much for showing it to us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. A weird guy clapping in my apartment. All right. So next up, Vicky is going to show us Fungin' in the Pungin', which when you submitted this, you did put a working title in parentheses, but I don't know why. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, that is great feedback.
Whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hold on, I gotta turn off push to talk. All right, so I guess I'll just start with what you do. you just jump, shoot, and you can do this cool ball thing. And so far, that's where we're at right now. It's gonna stay like we're probably gonna say 2D platformer. So people probably recognize the assets that are in here. And yeah, that's about it. The main thing we're looking for is like, what are your thoughts when you actually see this, like as it's passing by you on the screen? And then secondly, for those playing, we're looking at character control right now. And just like while you're playing, what do you want to do? Yeah. What are you craving? What else? What you don't want to do? It's called Fudgin' in the Pungeon because it's probably gonna stay room based and like so dungeon style. A lot of the influence is I don't know if people know Munchkin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where the idea is like
Yeah.
you kick down the door and I think loot the room and then look for trouble is a lot of the influence there. And so
But it's single player?
it's multiplayer.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so more like Munch. Is there PvP?
We haven't talked about PvP, but right now we've just talked about like a cooperative. Like mainly the theme is the same, is similar to Munchkin.
It seems very Metroid-like too.
Yeah. Oh, it's the ball, right?
I was like,
Yeah.
which ball?
And the missile too.
Oh, okay. So the idea is you get a shield and basically you can go through stuff with it. It's like a dodge. We're trying to avoid doing a pure dodge because that ends up being like the dominant strategy. It's just like it turns into a dodge fest. And we really wanted to like focus on some of the shooting and platforming as well. Oh. So yeah. We started this, I think we're about 2 weeks in right now in terms of prototyping. Oops, I just died.
This is great for 2 weeks.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What
There's assets from like a prior project in this, so like there's a caveat.
Oh, I can
But
see
yeah,
the
we're
Metroid
trying to,
now with the
yeah.
What
Maybe you could do like
platforms are
a
you doing?
cooldown for the dodging. Sorry.
Oh yeah. At least I could keep fighting the boss.
So
Someone in the Twitch chat was wondering about your design choices and what the visual style might evolve into.
Oh, yes, I will. Actually, I can just show you that.
That was Bonnie
This is lots
John.
of taking forever.
But you
We
did
have
it.
some concept art, and so the whole idea is actually going to be like kind of a rocky world. We're trying to like avoid. It's going to be a rocky world because it's mostly a logistical issue of just because we've realized with trees, like people, even like playtesting like more organic worlds, people were looking for like that organic movement, and we don't have the resources to animate a lot of that. So kind of like a rocky world. I'll show you guys. So it would look like, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is like one of the ideas, and I think this is like an Indiana Jones style here, and like you're jumping in. A lot of the enemies would be like these kind of like rock monsters.
That's
So
super cool with like the metal parts and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like
I love the
metal stone
rollerblades.
golems.
yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Just like prototyping and concept and play testing just to see how it feels. So I'll just pop some links in. I think it's Windows and Mac. And actually, we have 2 people with us because, like, yeah, and also it's like, when you're in your room, it's hard to play test. So you might see another person in our room, and then I might pop in later. So yeah, I mean, any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Much like Get a Grip Chip, I am amazed at how quickly you and your team prototype stuff. But yeah, this looks really cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. Character and camera. Those are the 2 main things we're looking at right now.
Are you gonna post a build?
Yeah. I'll send it over.
Not a question,
Yeah, so-
but it looks fun. I'm excited to try it out later.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and I guess for those that did play Get a Grip Chip, if we kind of don't want to make the same game either. And it has the art from that project, but we're hoping to, like, it's hard because, like, yeah, you have so much of that in your head, but we're hoping to, like, move away from it a little bit, but in a controlled manner without, like, blowing out our resources and all that. Hold on. I'll send you guys the link right now.
Really, so all the devs we're showing tonight, feel free to post your game in the Playtest Game Links channel. I see Untitled Druid Shooter is already in there. I will say try to keep Convo to the Playtest channel just so that like we have all the game links like really easily accessible. But yeah, thank you so much for posting your goodies in there. And we'll play them after the presentations. But obviously, if folks want to play them whenever, go for it. All right. Any other questions about Fungin and the Pungin? All right, then. Yeah, especially for something like that, like it's so important to like make sure the character control actually feels good. So it'll be really interesting to actually give that one a try with an actual keyboard. Awesome. Then we are going to keep going. Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. By the way, yeah, Brad
as well.
And so Matt Steffi is gonna be showing us Gas working title. Whenever you are ready, Matt, you can take it away. Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
All right. And actually in the Unity program, because the build I have, you can't switch classes or anything like that. So my game is called Gas, or that's the working title. And basically what it is, it's like a procedurally generated dungeon crawler. So it's going to be can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to go for like a Gauntlet meets Diablo with a kind of a more traditional MMO role setup. So it's going to be a kind of a group-based game where you have, the holy trinity of tank, healer, damage. Because I've never actually played a roguelike that was kind of oriented in group play. We'll just get it started. I have a couple different classes I'm working on right now. The more that I build, the more I realize I need to just stick to 2 or 3 to start with, because it's going to be insanely difficult to balance. So I've cobbled together a little UI to give you some affordance so you can kind of understand what's going on. So all the monsters, everything, all these levels are generated randomly, all the water, all the monsters. Right now I only have 3 AIs. The green guys are basically like going to be grub worms that shoot little acid balls at you. The rats are the brown ones. If you kill one, the other ones run away, so you kind of got to chase them down. And there's some black squares around here that are supposed to be bats, and these just kind of fly at you, and then you die. So I was. Let's see. So this game has a kind of a strafe system that I kind of ripped off from True Lies. I don't know if you guys ever played that on SNES or Sega Genesis. So I don't like twin stick shooters like Robotron or Smash TV just because I'm not good at them. So this is kind of an alternative to that. Is that you have this strafe instead of having a second stick that points to your direction and then one stick moves you. You basically have a straight block system. And eventually I want to get, RPG elements into this, item drops, things like that. But there are a couple classes, they have different stats, different abilities. So that was kind of the wizard class. This is going to be the priest class. And the UI is not going to update to reflect that. I kind of just did that for the sake of the playtest. Oh. Save this. So the design and stylistic choices of this game are going to be kind of old meets new. So I want to do a lot of pixel art, feel like a retro game, but I want to use a lot of modern particle effects. Kind of give a facelift to what I think an arcade game should look like. If you played Gauntlet, and Gauntlet was designed today, what would it look like? And I think the music's going to reflect that. I have a pretty talented composer in Denver working on the score. It's going to be very chiptune with kind of heavy metal drum and guitar tracks layered on top of it. Very Doom, I guess. I have a local audio engineer named Daniel McKimmy. He's working the sound engineering for it, and he's going to be doing some stuff with the Commodore 64 that I think is going to be pretty neat. Yeah, I want to have this house this as an arcade game, but I also want it to be to where you can have a career, so you can come back to the machine, plug in your initials, plug in your PIN number, however I decide to do it, and you can reload your game. And it's a roguelike, so at the end of each run you die, you start back at level 1, but you have progress that saves. So it kind of makes you want to come back, like, oh, let's go play that game again, and I can continue my progress, which is something that not a lot of arcade will have. I think that's all I got. Any questions or?
What kind of things are you thinking about for progression systems to get people to hook in and come back for the next round?
I want to streamline it so it does still feel like an arcade game. Don't want to have. I'm definitely going to have levels that are probably tied to class. So you have your main, like, oh, I always play the priest, and if I switch to the wizard, I will be at a detriment to my group. I'm picturing four screen arcade machine that you sit at for hours and play with your buddies. There's going to be like the night class here. None of the classes are finished, obviously, and they're definitely not balanced. But I'm going to have aggro mechanics or threat mechanics. So if you're playing a tank, you draw the monsters onto you. You have your healer heal you. But as far as progression systems, since you do have stats, it'll probably just be automatic. I don't want you to have to put in vitality and agility and all these other things. So it'll probably just raise your attack, raise your defense linearly. So I'm thinking linear stat raises per level, but then the experience gained needed between levels is exponential. To kind of add some longevity. So basically, my design theory, I guess, I'm not great at math, so creating an RPG is kind of an uphill fight. You there's going to be item drops that scale based off of what level they drop in. And then you have your character level, which scales and adds more to your stats. And it's going to be kind of a high score based game. I still want that arcade aspect to it. To where, okay, so you have a time bonus for finishing the level fast, but then you also get a bonus for killing more monsters. So you kind of got to weigh, should we, try and cut a straight line and find the exit, or should we farm so we can get better items? We're starting to fall behind in items. Very typical RPG elements.
It could be cool just from hearing kind of the design, maybe to have the items themselves be the progression hook. And when you find an item and you get to keep it for your next run, but your levels reset.
That was actually that was my original design choice. I wanted to have, once you got an item a certain number of times, you can choose to start with that item. So you could go out and farm, I want this, sword X, Y, or Z, or this amulet or whatever it is, and then let's try and farm these levels to get that so I can start with it. But I wrote down about 30 different design aspects on a whiteboard behind me, and somebody who's much better at game design told me write everything down and then cross off half of them, and then figure out where you're going to go from.
For sure.
Muffin Man Queso in the Twitch chat says that they really like the intersection of genre. You have got a cool blend here. Quick question I'm curious about. Are your stats is it a network thing, or do you have to keep coming back to your local bar and play on that machine if you want your progress?
I'm thinking it'll be you have to come back to the bar and play at that machine.
Hell yeah.
That's
a bold assumption for 2020.
Yeah, I don't want
someday.
Discover the machine at a bar, and then if I ever put this on Steam, I don't want back and forth. If I ever put it on Steam, I really just want to house this in an arcade. From the ground up, that's how I've been designing it. So if you guys do the playtest, I threw the controls on the screen that I just kind of cobbled together. Hopefully it feels all right. But I've tried it playing like that, and I've tried it on my gamepad, and it feels phenomenal, much better on the gamepad. And I think it's just because I designed it to be played that way. Oh,
awesome.
I didn't mention so each class it's going to be pretty easy to balance the classes, I feel like, because each class has 3 abilities. You have your primary fire, which is unlimited. Your second ability is cooldown based, so you can use that every so often. And then your third ability is basically show you. It's a charge. So every time you hit an enemy with your other 2 abilities, you gain charge. So for instance, the wizard character, his primary ability, when it hits, it explodes and does an AoE. So every class I kind of want to have a very specific job. So if you see it hits more than one enemy when it hits one. So the wizard's job is going to be wave clear. He's going to cut through the levels. Ranger is going to be the boss killer. The knight is going to be the tank. Priest is going to be the healer. So I'll use the secondary ability here. So it's just kind of like a blizzard. Obviously, I don't have any of the graphics hooked up yet. But once this bar gets to the top, you get to use your special ability. And that's when you kind of bring the thunder. And I'm trying to design it. I'm not that good at this game yet, apparently. But the mage has a bullet time, essentially. So it's going to slow everything else down. And your whole party is going to be able to move basically double speed. But it's going to feel like you're moving normally.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to playing that, and hopefully someday I'll play it in an arcade machine.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for showing that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Of course. Okay, we got one more presentation, and then I'm going to make a bunch of rooms, and we can actually try this out. So, Matt, you can, if you've not already, you can go ahead and post in Playtest game links. But I am going to hand the screen over to Ted for 9 Muses.
So Sorry, I was supposed to go third, but now I'm going last. Because I was having some issues. But
Sometimes
now
Unity's being Unity.
Yep, Unity's being Unity. So yeah, so many of you guys probably have seen this game before. Familiar faces. I've been working on this game. Can everyone see it? Just want to make sure.
Trying to stream now. Yes, I see your Unity window.
Okay, so this is Nine Muses. I've shown this game. I think it's the first time I'm showing it here. I'm working on this game since late.
Sorry to interrupt you, Matt. I think the Twitch stream might kind of like auto switch to the new window. So if you could just hit stop sharing on yours. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, I started working on this half 2019. I've been working on it on and off since, and I'm trying to develop this game as a mobile game to release it hopefully sometime soon. And if you boss rush game, music in hand-to-hand combat. So the reason I kind of want to show it is because I've added a few different things to the game. I've added more Muse fights to them, and also I've added more playable characters that test out, see what works the best. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into a fight and see and show off the new thing. So yeah, I really want people to play this game later. That's why the delay was. I'm trying to get build working. Not the easiest thing switching from an iPad to a Mac and Windows build. It was working yesterday, but now it's not working. So I have to try that again. I'm gonna try to get that within the minutes after I'm done here.
I think maybe turn your mic up a little bit. Some folks in the Twitch chat are having trouble hearing you. It's going in and out, like just a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably my Wi-Fi. 1 second. Let's see. How about, is that better?
I think so.
Okay. So sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just shots I have and some of them with the birds. Chopping now, but yeah. So challenge I came up with, I was trying to come up with different abilities for these birds that have very abilities. They only have like 2 things they can do. So like this bird fell apart to the other side of the screen. Click the button. So that's really useful. One thing I love doing is spinning around and hitting the boss twice. I do that. Didn't quite work that time, but I hit the boss and then I spin around and come back around and then hit again. That's one of my favorite abilities. So yeah, and then I'm trying to get each of the fights done. My main goal is to finish the game by summer and go through the process, get it out there. But yeah, I was finished up last year, didn't pan out. So this is the Muse of Poetry. So she's kind of like the head muse. She has a lot of Greek mythology-based attacks, while some of the other ones are a bit weirder. And ones that are based, and I'll show that one off next. You know, I was trying to play characters, make that in center as we go through the game. And I'm just going to play this fight. Try and unique attacks. There's lightning back there. Very difficult to avoid. And with this fight, one of the things is the fight. So let me see if I can quickly get her. The time I have here. Medusa, I'll have her. She's going to like freeze up there. So yeah, the reason I've been saying so on this is there's so many different. There's 9 different fights, and trying to get like almost a dozen different attacks. So I've been working on this for a little. But I'm hoping to kind of rush through it, get it done the next few months. Yeah. in each of the different phases. Okay, focusing here. I'll leave. It'll be a secret what happened anyways. To show off some of the other abilities. That was a challenge. I'm trying to come up with unique abilities for each one. Really change up the gameplay. This one's one of my favorites. This is the one with the space one I was talking about, Muse of Astronomy. This ability is also pretty hard to use. A second to load it. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, the weirdest. She chain ball that you can use as a weapon. And you get it right. It's a really use, but so it's something to do with a whole lot more damage. So you showed this multiple times. So I just want like a longer get to the playtest. I want to really make a build of this and play it to be able to test out the each of the characters and each of the fights, because I have so many right now that I want one's better than the others and which one needs some work, and with the player characters as well. So yeah, I'll call.
Okay, yeah, sorry, there's a little bit of audio issues. I think we missed a little bit of what you said, but the game is looking great. Every time I see it, it looks fantastic. And I know you were working on this pre-Hades, so maybe you can ride that train a little bit.
Right.
Is there anything in particular so you're just kind of looking for people to have the different fights feel balanced compared to each other?
Good in being I've refined them and left other ones not to be so. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, the problem is I don't build right now, so I'm going to try to get
All good. And even if you don't have anything cooked up tonight, you can always post it later if people are around and want to try it. The playtest night is something that happens maybe once a month. But if you're in the Wonderville Discord, there's a playtest channel that's active kind of all the time, and people do post builds in there from time to time, just being like, "Hey, can someone try this?" So we have a pretty active dev community here in Discord. I know that you know this, Ted. I'm kind of saying this for for everyone. Rad. So thank you so much for showing that for us, Ted. Yeah. I went ahead and did make some rooms, but before I split things off, since I think Sarah wasn't around last time, Sarah, do you want to just say a little bit about Tabletop Night that's going to be here next week?
Sure. So basically every Wednesday that we're not doing this, as of late, Wonderville has been doing tabletop nights. And we have so far been highlighting local tabletop designers and the games that they make in and around the Wonderville space. We've been playing on our channel, and you can, depending on the game and what tools they have available, potentially play along or just watch and listen and send fun questions to the devs like you do during this event. We're hoping to bring all sorts of tabletop culture and events in the future, so if there are things you want to see, by all means, suggest them, and we will see if we can get that going. The brief pitch, but during this space on Wednesdays, every Wednesday that's not a playtest night is a tabletop night, so hang around.
Awesome, thanks so much. I was lucky enough to be on one of those the other day. Played Lava Worm, which is a lot of fun, also available now. So yeah, don't come back next week. Check it out. It's a good time. And if you make board games, please get in touch with Sarah. It's always cool when we can show stuff actually made by the community. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you scroll down past the channel we're in now, you will discover that there are several new channels There's one for each game. I'm going to ask that people don't hop in one of those just yet. What I'm going to ask is, if some of these games sounded cool, check out the links that were posted. And if you want to play one, hop in the channel with that name, or maybe even ping the dev if they're not in there, just to let them know. And if you feel comfortable sharing your screen while you play, it's really, really useful for the devs to be able to check it out. If you showed something, please do try at least like one other game. It's kind of the most fun when we can play all this stuff. I want to give a quick notice. Also, you'll see Spooky Time video game. That is a game by Steve, aka Apple Snake, on here. I think you still wanted to post something. And he had asked that people just kind of go in blind on that one. So if you want to play a mystery game, you can tell me if I'm wildly misrepresenting this, Steve. But I have a little channel for that as well. If you need help or something, you can track me down. I'm probably going to be hopping channel to channel, but you can always DM me if like something's not working, or I like forgot to make a channel for your game, which I have done in the past. So feel free to do that. And also, I'm just going to go ahead. I have a little game of my own that I just added some network features to called Ziggurat of the Titan Beetle. I posted a link to that. When you're done playing other games, if like a group of 2 or 4 want to try that, I would love to get some feedback there as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and play some games. So I'm going to grab my other computer, get that set up. But if you already have a game downloaded, ready to go, or you just want to talk to the dev, I would say hop into that room. For folks who... Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for showing your amazing games.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you happen to be watching on Twitch, you can go to wonderville.nyc/discord. I see it was just posted in the chat. If you want to play one of these, like, hop in. It's easy to get in here. So if you want to be on the other side of the screen, please go for it. Okay, what we got?